viewers, and welcome to another edition of Discovering Wellness. Today, I'm joined by Vinay Chandhok, a man who wears many hats. He's a wellness enthusiast, and that's what brings him on this show. And he is somebody with years and years of experience in manufacturing and service industries. And he's a consultant to startups, consultant to various organizations across the spectrum: private sector, public sector, government sector. And obviously, with that, he brings to us a lot of experiences. So, welcome, Vinay, to this program. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Great, Vinay. So, the first thing that I want to really extract out of you, out of all those years that you've got with all these organizations from startups to multinationals, is what works in the wellness space? What's working now?
If you're happy and your mindset is aligned to what your goals are, right, then you are at your best, right? I mean, it could be anything that you do. It could be sports. It could be cooking meal for loved ones at home. It could be working in a professional environment. It could be working for a social cause that you subscribe to. So wellness, in my opinion, is a mindset, right? It's not about physical health of an individual, right? It's about his or her mindset of how you approach anything in life, right? And to me, that's what defines wellness. If you're happy, possibly you are more well. Your wellness index will be better than somebody else who's a little less happier than you.
Fantastic. So, in one stroke, you have moved the wellness responsibility to the individual to be happy, whether you're washing your clothes or you're in a sporting event or whatever, which is so empowering, because we always wait for our organizations to do something about wellness and organize some camps or get creative about it. You L&D manager, what are you doing, type of thing. But what gives you happiness? That's deep. And when we go into environments really where we have this whole setup of the HR department, which is saddled with the responsibility of making sure that everybody's well, and they can't really go down to everybody's individual level and check, are you happy, what makes you happy? Then what do you think works in that sort of a scenario?
In my limited views, it is the way culturally people are allowed to cohesively work, right? And today in modern day enterprises, many a time they have changed how people network with each other, how the reporting lines are. I mean yesteryears when I started my career, I mean, if you look at management trainees, when you and I became management trainees, why were we oriented across multiple functions? Because you got a very larger sense of the enterprise that you were selected for, and that gave you a better belongingness to that enterprise, right? Because you felt more related, you felt more participative across various functions, right? So it's not that enterprise didn't look at all this. These might sound very simple, but the reality is that somebody understood how a human mindset will work and what gives that kick to that human mindset, right?
So we lost it. and that's really thickening the plot now. Where did we lose it in the design of new age organizations? What's happening now?
In my opinion, post-COVID, some amount of that personal touch was lost, right? Organizations have to put a conscious effort of bringing it back, right? And I mean, in mid-sized companies that I work and I consult, I see that behavior almost coming back to normal. And a happy mind delivers far better productivity than a less happier mind.
Absolutely. No, that's something to really look forward to. And you bring up a very interesting point about the wellness being integrated into the culture of the company, and now the company is spending more money on building this. And this is something where they can make mistakes. What is it that you think will not work for propagating wellness?
The only way is to keep investing it, and we've all made mistakes in life. And get your perfect recipe and the secret sauce of what works for you. I mean, what works for a technology company, which is, let's say, the average median age is 30, 35, and what works for a little older manufacturing company where the blue collar, white collar combination is in favor of the blue collar, might be different recipe, right? But as wellness enthusiasts, as wellness professionals, my suggestion is, keep working and optimizing your effort bucket in areas which ensures, and we've all seen those, yellow, I mean, when we were youngsters, our boss used to come and put a yellow slip in front of us. You did a good job. There was a Friday appreciation meets, right? There were Saturday learning sessions. These all these smaller initiatives essentially brought how people look at each other. I mean, those, I don't know whether the new gen companies, I certainly know that they go out for a drink on a Saturday or a Friday, which is sponsored by the company. But I don't, off late, I have not seen too many companies still doing company, picnics, company offsites. And again, I'm not saying offsite for the budgets and the AOPs. I'm saying offsite in general, right? Where, I mean, I remember in one of the earlier companies I used to work when I became a middle management professional, right? We were allowed 3 days in a year to go along with our small team of 8-10 people on any location that we thought was right, and the company paid entire money, and the 3 days were not deducted as salary from us, and we were allowed paid holiday.
Wow.
Right? Small initiatives, but what happens is the bonhomie and the cohesiveness in that small team of 8-10 people essentially becomes far better than it was ever, right? I mean, will it continue for eternity? I'm not saying, right? But at least for the
Friends
next
for
two,
life.
3 months, yeah, at least for the next 2-3 months, you certainly recognize that there were good times that you spent, right? And in 8-10 people, fortunately, politics doesn't play much role.
So true. That's a fantastic idea for L&D managers to take home, because it's not that the whole company has to create offsite opportunities for managers and above. It's individual teams, and then, like you said right at the beginning, coming down to individual happiness. When you're together with your team of 8-10 people, each one knows what makes the other happy.
And as they say that between the I and the you, if you focus on the I, everything becomes all right. Right? So if all these small teams focus on themselves, I'm sure there'll be a better, organizational fabric that will have a higher productivity and a better belongingness of an employee. And a better belongingness is, see, why do you always look back to go home? Right? Because there are people you belong to, right? And you
Right.
find joy and happiness at your home, right? And then the same belongs to, I mean, if you want to go back to the team because you feel charged up, what is wellness? Wellness is the mindset, right? Yeah, am I happy? Am I less happy? Am I more happy? Right? It's a relative issue, and in my opinion, that's the segment that, or that's the index that most people don't measure. I mean, we all have, today we measure KRAs in many ways. We have, a couple of years back, many companies adopted the OKR. Some people moved to, the NPS, right? But where is the, even as CHROs or wellness professionals or whatever one wants to qualify as business leaders, where did we define what does wellness mean to an individual, and how does that, bell curve, if I may use that one word for a want of a better word, is there in the wellness space? I mean, how do you moderate wellness? How do you institutionalize wellness? And how do you then say that, okay, my wellness index has moved from point A to B? I mean, is the needle moving right? Is the needle moving northwards? If it's moving, I mean, just be happy and keep reinvesting resources. There are project team leaders who help you learn the first line of coding, right? And then, train the trainer becomes, and I mean, in about 3-4 years, you start institutionalizing. I would be more happy to see many, L&D experts and the CHROs coming up with how they think this can be institutionalized. When I was a young sales guy, we always looked up to the sales trainer who came to us. I mean,
Right.
starting from a simple demo of your device to how a use case was defined, right? And that's how the company became a better productive organization.
Right. So it's those
Sorry, I took a long
interpersonal
time to answer your
relationships
short
that
question.
you have with the sales trainer, with your team, which help you believe that you know what you're doing, and when you know what you're doing, you are obviously more productive, and so it's got that cyclical effect on
Yes,
wellness.
see what I mean, Sandeep, is that in that situation, your outcome gets more predictable,
Predictable.
right? And you know, when if let's say you're driving and there is no traffic snarl on the road, and your Google tells you that you reach your destination in 6 hours 30 minutes, you're always happy, right? The
Yeah.
moment your Google says there is a 30-minute jam, you start getting ulcers in your stomach, right? So the more predictable you are, my sense is you are more happier, right? So can organizations
Excellent.
bring in a better sense of, you know, belongingness, better sense of predictability of how people behave and how they can benefit? My sense is it might help people to be having more uh, healthier employees, both physically and mentally.
True. My big takeaway from this conversation is that if we can build predictability through measurement, then we will have a predictable path to increasing wellness and therefore productivity. Have I understood that
Absolutely.
right? And is that something that you
Absolutely.
have been seeing in the workplace, or would you like to see some of that happening in
I,
some
I
places?
don't I don't see it today, but experts like you who understand wellness far better than people like me should necessarily define an OKR kind of a phenomenon or a framework for
Mhm.
wellness, right? And that gets institutionalized into the KRAs of business leaders, right? From the mid management to the senior management. And in my opinion, that's if we can move the needle in that direction, uh, it might help the organization to have better well-being of their overall, workforce.
Fantastic. That's eminently implementable, because what I know is that the Wellness Seekers Academy has invested more than 500 man hours in putting
Brilliant.
together systems for evaluation of wellness across 8 dimensions. So
Oh,
that's a very interesting case that we have been implementing in various organizations. But the way you linked it to productivity and predictability, I think that really puts things at a different level of for from the point of view of
no, I'm
execution.
glad I could value add to your purpose. See, if you guys already have the 8 dimensions that you have developed your matrices around, right? Then try and build them around the key result areas. Build them into whichever framework the organizations have deployed. Right? It's an individual choice of that organization. But try and link them into the KPI. I mean, there was a time when we had measured a business leader saying that how many people did you retain, how many people from your own team got promoted and took higher responsibilities within the group or outside the group, right? If wellness is also institutionalized as a KRA or as a deliverable in each business leaders uh, annual targets, right? My sense is, if not today, in very near short-term future, you will start realizing that the benefits are tremendous because then you consciously drive it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vinay. I don't know
It was a
you,
pleasure talking
you
to you,
guys,
Sandeep.
viewers, but I am thoroughly inspired by this conversation. And, I
Good to
see a
talk to you and
roadmap.
catch up.
So thanks a lot for that.
Cheers.
And
Okay.
the viewers, till the next time, keep watching Discovering Wellness. We have past episodes in the library, so write to us in case you want access. And remember, Tuesday afternoons, India time, we're there with you. Learnings from corporate wellness seekers through Discovering Wellness. See you next time. Thank you.